Now that your template is displayed in Excel, let's go through the columns. I have already entered the items for the inventory transfer. Move along the column header cells to view how many characters the field will transfer over to your point of sale file. Now let's look at the item number field. The item number is a unique number that identifies each item. The point of sale system will automatically create a number upon import. I would leave this field blank. If you need to add item numbers from a previous system, I would suggest using the alternate lookup field. The item name is a short description of the item. It prints on your receipt. The item name is a required field for transfer over to the point of sale company file. You can add your department name to the items. If you leave any rows blank, it will create a generic name like system. You would have to go into the QuickBooks Point of Sale file and change it later if you left this field blank. The department code is a 3-letter code to be associated with departments. The item description can be the same as the item name or another description for products. What I usually do is I take the item name column and I copy the whole column and then I paste it over into the item description. Some people like to have longer descriptions, so if that's the case, go ahead and create your own description. The brief description is another description field for the product. If you're converting from another system and your barcode numbers do not contain 12 or 13 digits, you will want to enter them into this alternate lookup field. Otherwise, your barcode scan will not work with the UPC field. You may have a field with an alternate lookup number and a UPC number. Also, if you're creating custom barcodes, I would suggest to use your item number in this field. That way it will be easy to look up your items and not duplicate a code. And I know that you're thinking that we're not putting any item numbers on this sheet, so you probably want to wait till we import it and then QuickBooks will assign it an item number. Next, you enter the attribute such as color pattern or a second size if needed. You can also enter any sizes that you want to show to correlate with the item. Average unit cost, which is calculated average cost per unit of an item, can be added in this field. We strongly suggest to only use this field upon setup of your QuickBooks Point of Sale file. This field can be left blank if you want to enter it in later on. Order cost is simply the cost per item charged from your vendor. In the next two columns, you can enter your vendor name and your vendor code. The vendor name can be the preferred vendor that you want to use, and the vendor code is a 3-digit code, just like your department code that gives you an added way to search for a vendor. Okay, let's continue working with the data import template. We will start off with the regular price. The regular price is the price that you charge your customers, and it doesn't include any discounts or anything like that that you would offer. The manufactured suggested retail price would be the retail price that your manufacturer suggests. This field can also be left blank, and the regular price field can also. You have 4 custom price levels. These are used to offer different prices to different customer groups. No entry is required for transfer. Tax code is a required field. Enter your tax code. It can be tax or non depending on how it's set up in your preference types. Enter the 12 or 13-digit UPC number. If the UPC numbers only contain 12 digits, you will have to enter a 0 on the front of the number. You can transfer numbers that are shorter or longer than 12 or 13 digits, but the scanner will not recognize them. The item type is a required field. You can choose from inventory part, non-inventory part, and service. Group or assembly items will not transfer. They don't tell you that it's required for transfer, but I found out the hard way that it is. So you want to make sure that you have something in your item type field. You'll see the quantity for stores, so you'll see the quantity going from 1 to 20, and that's because Point of Sale allows you to have 20 different remote stores. So what you can do here is if you are using one store, you can just go ahead and enter in your on-hand quantity for the first store. If you have multiple stores, when you set that up in your preferences, you will label each store, store 2, store 3, store 4, and you can enter in the quantities on hand if you want to. This is not a required field. You can do this later if you want to, but a lot of people like to enter it in right now so that they start out with knowing what their quantity is. Custom fields can be used to enter any other information you need to track. You have 5 custom fields that you can use as needed. For instance, I had one company who had used item styles as a custom field, and that was how they identified their items from their previous point of sale. And so we entered that into the custom field, and it worked out really well for them. You can choose your company reorder point for your headquarter and remote stores. If you're using multi-store, or you can use a company reorder point for your store for just one store. So for the company reorder point here, I'm just showing what it is, what the totals are for everything combined. Units of measure. If you use this feature, I would suggest you set it up after the transfer. The system will walk you through how to set it up correctly. If you want to enter it on the spreadsheet, you enter the smallest measure that applies to the item in the base units of measure. Then you enter the units that you order the item in, and then you enter the units that you sell the item in.
We'll start off with the print tags in this. Here you can put the yes, no, or just leave it blank, and then it will default to yes. An orderable field can be yes or no or blank. If it is blank, it will default to no. The serial number tracking, you can enter yes, no, or leave it blank. If you leave it blank, it will default to no. The eligible for commission field, this includes sales of this item when calculating commission. Next, you have your QuickBooks Cost of Goods Sold account. This is used for integrating with your QuickBooks financial software. So you have your cost of goods sold, your sales, and your inventory asset account. The next one is a manufacturer account. That's if you have a manufacturer for your product that you want to put in that field. And this is eligible for rewards accounts. So if you have a rewards program, you can enter yes, no, or leave it blank. And if you leave it blank, that means no, that they're not eligible for rewards. The last one here in this section is the weight, and that's if you ship your items, you can enter the weight. And the last fields that we have are the vendor fields. These are the vendors that you purchase from that are set from your primary vendor. So with these fields, you can have a second vendor name, they can have a UPC number, they can have an alternate lookup number, and an order cost. You have your third vendor name, your fourth one, and then your fifth one. And the last one is a sync to mobile. If you click yes on this, it will create a check mark in the sync to mobile, and you can sell those items that you select yes to on your mobile device, as long as you have a subscription to Intuit credit cards. And that completes our demonstration on how to fill out the Excel spreadsheet for the Data Import Wizard.